We've kind of got to start working on Corollas again, I guess. We've got not long until the big road trip. Halfway hangs, taking the Corolla. I need to start working on this and my car. Kind of my priority at the moment is putting a stereo in it for some reason, which really isn't that much of a priority, but we got this in here. We got head unit. I want to start working on that. I've been wanting to do this, but I couldn't have been fucked vlogging. So that was the thing. I couldn't have been bothered videoing it. So yeah, I'm back now. I'm trying my best. I'm very tired. I'm gonna start pulling that stuff out, and I've been putting it off so I could record it. So yeah, we're gonna get those out. I'm gonna check them out, see what they look like, see what's in the front. There must be something in the front. Surely it can't just be back. Got a heap of shit to do. So very fun, very exciting. Yeah, there's a sub in the back. I don't know if there's an amp, so I don't know if I can actually use that or not. He might have kept the amp, can't remember, unless it's under the carpet, but we'll have a look. Yeah, very exciting. We need to start going on this thing. We're getting towards the end of Jan. Yeah, so we've got about a month until we're good to go. There's a lot of work to do between now and then. Ooh, the car's running well, but we need to do some like lifestyle mods, I guess. So I've got a list of stuff I want to do. Stereo's one, so we can have some nice tunes driving around for a couple weeks instead of just the boom box, which also takes up space. So, but might take that anyway. We'll get there. Heap of stuff like that. So maybe I want to try change the locks. I want to get the front lip on. Heap of little stuff. So let's do it. Do it. You always find funny shit with this stuff. Crown. They've used some kind of crown blanket to insulate the board that they put in. It's pretty funny. Yep, just pulled out the seats, aka there, and pulled out the screws out of the board that they've made for this. We'll see if we can get it out. I'll leave you on. You can stay on for a bit, huh? I don't know what's holding this in or what. Looks like it's actually under these panels, which is kind of annoying. Maybe these are screwed in as well, I guess. Yeah, maybe these are screwed in too, so I don't know if they're screwed into the car though, that's the thing. Oh, well, let's make things difficult, huh? Looks like it's under these side panels, so it's a bit hard to get, but I'll get there. Never let them know your next move. Pulled off the Venetian instead of doing what I was doing. Dunno. I mean, it looks kind of cool. Alright, so I just pulled out one of the speakers. I ended up leaving the parcel shelf in there, but got the speaker there and the cover. Bit echoey, sorry. So this will go in here. Pretty much like that. You go, oh, I'm gonna cut holes in that. I go, yeah, I'm gonna cut holes in that. Whatever, it's fucked. So, in these, sorry for the echo, but they already have holes, provisions cut for speakers, so all I've got to do is cut some holes in the plastic up there, which I'll probably just trace from underneath. And then I'll know the rough dimensions, and then we can double check it with this stuff. So usually you can get a pretty good idea with these, or just this itself. But yeah, that'll go up in there. Should clear, hopefully. You'd hope. Hopefully it'll fit. These might be a little bit big, but they're effectively free, so I'm gonna try use them. Hopefully they're not too big. There's another option, you can space them up. You can get some spaces from like Autobahn and that, or just make your own. Some wooden rings and space them up a bit. Might even be able to get angled ones. Oh, let me sit in here, it's hot. That's flat, so you can always go up. You know, if you had to, you go up a fair bit. What's that gonna be, like 30, 40 mil even? Or angled, you could try angle them like that. Oh, they might even be over here, so you get 50 mil, more even. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure where the holes are. I assume they're somewhere between these plugs, but yeah, Never taken these out, that's crusty and gross. Yeah, I'll pull that out. We'll have a look-see-loo. Are these fun mods? I don't know anymore. Can't even be bothered, man. But it'll be cool once it's done. A lot of work to get there though, that's the problem. Oh. Alright, Ruby's come to help again. Hey, up here. Ruby. Oh, hello. Alright, backrest out. Broke the shit out of all these little things, except the big ones. So let's see if this comes out. There we go. Look at that, easy peasy. Lovely. Very cool, man. And then now, we'll grab the speaker out. A little look-see, see if it'll work or not with the factory holes. They look pretty small now once you have it out. Magnet doesn't help. Oh yeah, that should be sweet. So it's not currently sitting flat, but that shelf sits level with the high spots on here. So there to there, as you can see. I think that should work, should be alright. Just gotta do it. Gotta cut some holes in this, which I dare say aren't marked on here at all. No, because I've never touched. You can see the high spots where this sits. I don't know if they didn't have this. Oh, it's actually made out of wood, that's interesting. I thought it was gonna be plastic or something. But I don't know if they didn't have this when they put the speakers in that car, or if this is a bit flimsy. But worst case, if this breaks or something, or is no good down the track, we'll just make a new one. Not too bad. Yeah, that looks all right. And later down the track, it'll look, you know, like that. Mr. Cool. Lovely.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're so beautiful.
It's been some time now, maybe a week or so, I don't know. And I'm gonna continue with my stereo install. So, I've got them out. That's my parcel shelf from the roller. Then we've got another one here with a cover. And yes, so I've got this one. There's just the factory MDF. And then there's one in here as well. So I'm gonna have to work out what'll work better. Because this one's a bit thicker, so it might hold the speakers better. You can see here, it's a few mil thicker. The shadow gets out of the way, you get the gist of it. And that also might hold the speakers up a bit higher. So this whole area is all wobbly underneath. So it's actually flattens it and then probably lifts it up a bit. Lifts that whole thing up. So we've got that. And then also, yeah, there's not a lot of space back here. So they'll have to sit like all the way back towards the glass here. So we're gonna see if that's actually gonna work or if they need to be spaced up towards the front. So there's a bit of working out. So I'll continue with that. First thing I kind of want to do, because I'm going to need to go to the shops and all the stuff I want is right next to each other. I want to pull out the stereo so I can work out what wiring I need. So the stereo in this car is there. I think that's dimmed one, yeah. It's in the aircon kind of area. So it looks like they've done some kind of different panel here. It's a different color. Maybe a custom thing or aftermarket, I don't really know. And then they've got molded gauges up here, which is kind of cool, but yeah. Well, I might change that up. That's not really how I would want it necessarily. And we've got to find out if he's got front speakers as well. All right, pulling out all the dash. It's a little bit of a mess in here. I don't know exactly what's going on. There's wires and stuff. That's another reason why I'm keeping my car, not fixing this car, is because I know everything in my car. I've pulled everything apart, I've fixed a lot of things, stuff like that, you know, and then I know everything in there, and I know what quality everything is, I know like, I know how everything's been done, I know what's under the paint, etc. Whereas this car, who has a clue what's under here? It seems like kind of they've cut corners a little bit, like just done things the easiest way possible. Like there's overspray on heaps of stuff from the paint job. So it's like, if you couldn't mask up properly, you don't know what else is done. I've started to pull the dash apart, got all this loose so I can get it all out. These actually have popped out, so that's all right. And then I've got the gauges up here. I'm not sure how these work exactly and if they're different or what. So I'm just made some little tags for them with some masking tape and they will just pop out like that. They will just have a little, what is that, a 5-pin plug in the back. So SAS gauges. They work, that's cool. got this kind of freed up, so we'll start looking at the head unit. Trying to get that out. Oh, my back's quite sore. Got the head unit out. One problem, which I didn't realise till just now, is it's not a CD player, which is slightly disappointing. I would have liked a CD player because I have lots of CDs, but it's a head unit, so that's cool. Maybe we'll swap it out with someone else, we'll see. Maybe we'll swap if they're the same plug. But, got it out. There was cable ties underneath holding it in. So I was like, why can't I pull it? Had to cut them, one was white, so I was like, yep, oh, I can see that. And then kept trying to pull it. There was another black one, but we got there in the end. So, there's a bit of a mess under here. I shall investigate. But we got the head unit out, so we can start working some shit out, see where I can put it. So, I'm just looking at spots, and the main spot I was thinking was in here. So our main spot was, I think, to put up there, kind of hidden, and then you close the glove box, can't see it, whatever. But kind of doesn't fit, even though they're small. It like almost fits down here. You could put it like that or something. You know, it goes up. You're kind of losing all your glove space. So that I'm looking at, maybe could cut out the back here and sit it back a bit further. So that's one idea. In the other car over there, which you can see, had it in here. So he had no aircon controls. So I was like that, which was, I think, a bit silly, because then you can't use your aircon stuff, your heater or anything, but that car didn't have a heater, so, and it doesn't have a cooler, so I guess it didn't need it. So another obvious option is down here, where you're meant to put something, on this Toyota plate. Apparently they're hard to get. I think I've got 2 or 3 of them, so whatever. And then another option I've just thought of is this could go under here. There's a bar that runs along under there, and it doesn't really get in the way of your feet, which is why I'm sitting in the car. So it could go under there, which would be a super easy install. You'd maybe just see it, but not really, like it wouldn't be too obtrusive. Could even put a little fascia around it or something. Yeah, the options. So there-ish, there-ish. You could cut it up and put it up there if you really wanted. You could maybe remove this panel and put it in here, because I don't know if there's anything behind there. Yeah, you got options. They all require work. Depends, you know. Sometimes in cars you have like stuff up here, you know, so gauges and shit. So you could do something like that. Show you once I decide on something. On the glove box maybe. Center console. Yeah. Alright, so the current plan is to modify the worst one of these, which is from the Fluffy Duck. It's pretty broken and a bit gross and stuffed up and scratched and shit. So this is the worst one of the 3, we reckon. We got the black one from the cream. I don't know, the what am I calling this one? Banana split. So we got this one with a Toyota plate in it. Paint up great. It's kind of half decent. It's been repaired a little bit. We've got my original one, which I'm thinking we keep original. So that one can stay like that. It's half decent again, but it's a bit broken and a bit shit, a bit weathered. So we've got the shitty one here. So what we're thinking is we just do it the way normal people do it. That there, cut this hole slightly bigger for that. And that'd be it. And then just use, there's provisions on here, these 4 holes. Put a screw that'll grab onto these tabs, and that'll just sit like that and just kind of float there a little bit and use those screw holes. So it kind of like just barely bridges the gap. So let's see if that works. Still want to check out the glove box idea, but we'll check this first. So I've just grabbed 2 coarse screws out of random bucket here. First screws I saw, little button head style coarse thread screw. Banged them in the 4 holes just to make a thread. They've actually worked way better than expected. Still floppy because I only put 2 in, but the heads are the perfect size that they center the head unit, because before it would only just sit on those edges, and now it actually can't move side to side. So that's actually really good. And then it looks good from this end as well. So now that that's kind of in there, I'll take it back out, and then we can start cutting out the front. Pretty good. Happy with that. It's worked well. So just chucked in the other screws in there. So there's 4 screws in there now, just hold on to those little flaps. And that's like, not going anywhere, mate. So your depth will be set by that, but you can still move up and down a bit because it's just holding onto flat panels. So you can set the height, but your depth will be set to whatever that is. But that's pretty good. We just need to cut the front so we can fit the fascia in, and that's it. Hello. Wow, looks pretty good. The black on black is like perfect. Like it actually looks pretty good. It's a couple of wobbly edges, but not too bad. We've just been going at it with the Dremel, and then I've been hand filing it a little bit. So this is the shit one out of the fluffy duck. Don't cry about it. Look at this shit. So that, I'm gonna clean that up. I'm gonna chuck washers in here behind these, glue them in with some plastic, weld, whatever it is, JB stuff. I'll show you in 1 sec. I'm gonna redo that. I showed you how to do that before with the interior stuff, which kind of makes sense because this is from the fluffy duck as well. So it's all gonna be fluffy duck inside. I already did it with those bits down there. So I'll do it with this. But that looks pretty good. Like the black. Most head units have like silver and stuff all in here. All the black on there looks good. Just use the Dremel. Started with the sanding wheel. Then just moved to this little file that just has a little rough barb on it. GoPro won't show you, but you get the gist. Yeah, oh, this stuff. Cream plastic welder. But I might need to buy some more. Do some of that. Cool. It's gonna look real good. You hardly even notice it's in there, really. And then I'm gonna run a little wire from there down the bottom. I was hoping it would have a rear input, but it doesn't have one. Just has outputs for the subwoofer. Fits in there perfect. Screws hold it in really good. Sure, it's not. No creaks, wobbles at all, so that's perfect.
So we've learnt that K24 dad's available as a license plate.
Okay. Kinda helped, but kinda didn't help.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh. That's not what I expected. I don't know.
I can't say because it's here, so.
Phillips.
Philip.
Philip made this.
The Hillops, mate.
Type O. Is that like a kind of band you listen to? Type O.
No,
negative?
Moral support. He's the one doing research.
Found some Explods. Explod. 2 ways, I reckon. 2 ways about it. And we're going to replace the factory speaker with that. Because it's probably much better. What do you reckon?
Yes.
Who gives a jacket? I don't think it's going to work, but we'll find out. Alright, stereo install, part 552. What's going on? Got to put some roof racks on. That looks the same. What have I been doing? I just swept the floor, so that's a good start. Heaps of shit down there. But let me turn the lights on, that'd be a good idea. We're filming shit. Got the head unit. That's all pretty much ready to go. And then, inside. The stuff I got's inside. Let's go get that. Ooh. Oh, and also, I bought some wheels. Zoom, zoom, zoom. This will be very fast, very fast. This is going to be very fast. Baggy. That's what I want. Firstly, changed my mind on the material. Saw this at Spotlight, and I thought that actually matches the Corolla way better than what I bought. It's going to be way less messy. So I bought a shitload of this. So that's either going to be, this is the piss coloured car, so it doesn't match as well, but you can get a gist. Parcel shelf and or seats. So I got like 4 meters of that. And then we got little loomy guy. And then we've got some stereo cable. It's just light duty. Hopefully that's good enough. Cables that come out of the head unit are pretty thin, so I think that should be adequate. You know, worst case, I have to do it all again. Oh, I got a tape measure, which I took with me. Fascia. And then we got some just power cable, thicker cable. Don't ask me about this stuff and don't copy what I'm doing because I don't know what I'm doing. So we'll see if it works, and that's good enough. So we got this guy ready to go, match them up to that. So they should be adequate thickness and all that. Jibbity jabba. Honk. Hopefully we'll get this stereo in today and we'll have some banging tunes, man. So I've checked in this car and they've full bonked out that. Okay, well I was saying I'll keep my car. More and more examples. So we've got the stock parcel shelf in here. Ooh, some shadows. Stock parcel shelf in there, and I'm gonna get in the boot like this. Hey, Bubba. Oh, fuck. Hello. Here we go. Oh, you could sleep in here, I reckon. Already slept in all the other parts of a Corolla. I'm gonna mark out our holes, aren't we? Because I believe I can make it fit with the factory holes. So we're gonna try it. Because worst case, we just break some irreplaceable parts. And also these holes are gonna end up oversized, so this is just kind of a guide. Oh, this is not made for big men. Check this all good. One's a bit further away for some reason. There we go. Let's do it. So we cut out. I'm stuck. I'm actually stuck. Cool, so cut them smaller than they need to be, and then we'll cut them bigger. And we might need to get some spacers, but we'll see. It's not as comfortable as sleeping on the bed inside it. One thing you probably also could have done is putting this in upside down. So I think the shape should be reflected. So you could do that as well. Pro tip, put this in upside down and you won't have the foam in the way. But this is how it sits. So the other idea might not have worked, who knows? But I'm just gonna cut this out with a knife. Then I'm gonna try maybe the Dremel with a cutting wheel on it. It's kind of like a angle grinder, but smaller. So we'll try that. Another use for a pod filter. You can put your GoPro in it. Make a little stand. Oh, actually, I should keep this on this arm. That'll be right. The rest will wrap around. Do that with it. Cut more. How much asbestos do you reckon's in here? Lots? Nice. Keep that. At this point I've cut a little hole. You see, just a tiny little hole. It's roughly the shape of what's underneath, so we have a placement of where the speaker will go. These also aren't straight, so maybe that's why they decide to bash it all out, who knows. So what we're gonna try to do is get that in there eventually. And what we might do is move the speaker forward a little bit. We'll just slowly start cutting it. We know how big we need that because we have the cover somewhere. That's what we'll do. We'll just slowly work it out bit by bit. We'll keep grinding it back, filing it probably. It's got the cover, which will tell us about how big our speaker is. Hopefully he's gonna fit in there. They're pretty big. We'll see how we go. Worst case, we'll have to grind out the bottom a little bit. But that's kind of the placement. Obviously goes on an angle a bit like that. We've got a rubber back there, so that's annoying. Got this shit. But the height looks better than expected. And also we can get some spaces if we need. But we'll just slowly work it out, go a little bit by bit. So as I said, I'm just slowly taking it in and out. We've got it to there now. Might need a spacer, but we'll see. But what I'm doing is looking in here. You can see how much of a gap there is, kind of. Ignore the dirty glass and the echo. And I'm looking in the bottom to see how much clearance I've got to the factory hole. So at the moment, it's not looking too bad. Still got a bit of distance around here and here. So that's cool. So I might just keep making the hole a bit bigger so the speaker can come down. Maybe we won't be able to fit the cover on top, but something like this where they're not getting touched or anything, the cover's not as important. That's more if they're in like a wagon or something and you're going to be bashing groceries into them. But not too bad. I'd like to put the covers on if I can, but we won't have much space. And the whole thing of what I'm trying to do is not like cut up the metal of the car. The least amount possible would be good. So far it looks all right. I'm surprised actually it's gotten this far down without doing anything down here, so that's good. All right, getting close now, so you can see that's about how big that is. And that's how big my hole is. So getting close, shapes there, locations there, been taking it easy. So now I'm just gonna cut out this bottom corner to get it this way a little bit and sink it down. And then I'll probably buff back the whole thing, slowly make it bigger until the speaker fits in there. Got a little sanding wheel on there, so I'm gonna cut this corner out. Then I reckon from there, it'll just be sanding it back till it fits. So sanding around the whole thing. You can see it's a bit smaller than this, obviously, but this is obviously bigger, so that's all right. And we just need to make the hole big enough so the speaker can sit all the way down. Right, pretty close. Getting there. Have a look underneath. Still a little bit of room, but maybe push it back a bit once it's flattened out. I've just swapped out to the sanding wheel on the Dremel. Should take care of it. Got the speaker in. It now fits in the thing thong. It's got a little bit of interference down here. So I'm thinking I might just round that out. Depending on what speakers you're using and like what the bass is like on them. And if you use something a little bit smaller, you probably wouldn't have to do that. I could probably get away with it with these, but because I kind of want to run this because it's neater, I want to move the speaker forward a little bit, like it would maybe just work. Like that's hitting the glass to fit in, shit like that. So I might just grind a little bit of this out, make a little bit of clearance. It's not really damaging anything or anything like that, so might as well make a little bit of clearance, make my life easier instead of doing things the hard way. Good little grinder on there, clearance the bit, in and flush. But at the last second, snapped it in half. Got caught on the seat belt, which happens every time you take this in and out. And then snapped in half, so that's cool. Might try glue it together with some metal or something, or might chuck it in the bin. It's not very hard to make another one, but I'd rather not. But yeah, probably just glue it together. We're covering it anyway. Got that if I want, but you can see the difference here between how far they space it out. They cut a heap out, whereas where mine fits, I've cut out like 10 mil. See how much I've cut out of there, and then you've got the bars and stuff, so it's like, not great. That cover fits there, just against the rubber. Speaker fits in, so I'll clean that up. Yeah, just cut out a little bit, not much. On this front edge there, ovaled that out so there's a bit more clearance, and then it fits. I cut out a tiny bit more or grind it or whatever, file it. So that's how much I cut out. Not much at all. I ground off a little bit off this edge as well, this front edge, and then I'm going to take a little bit more off. So, you know, probably take off about a finger's worth if you have to, but not much. In the bin. Cool. Oh, hello. Hello, little dog. So I've got the broken finish side here. Woohoo. So I've just flipped this, chucked it here, done a scribbly, flipped that again, checked it there, did some little marks, because roughly an oval. Chucked it on there like that or whatever. But to double check, I've just made a little template. And all I did was chuck that on there, obviously. And I've just put a piece of paper down this way. And all I did was rub where the holes are. So say that hole there, put it down, just put some pressure on it. And the dirt will show you where the hole is. It'll indent it so you can see it on both sides as well. There's a quick little tip, and then I've just X'd out the holes and cut out that, because all I want to do is double check it. So flip it over. Now I can push a finger in the hole like that, because there's an X. X lines up, and that's pretty good. There's a bit of a oval there, but we won't worry about that for now. As long as the hole's in the right spot, then that's pretty good, because the hole's got to be oversized anyway. But cool, done. And I cut that a bit big. But let's cut it. Very nice. Woohoo. Oh, that was a lot more work than expected. They're in. Look good. I quite like it. What else do you need to know? Smashed about 50 of these little pieces. Had fun, drank some water. Yeah, that's about it. Got to continue wiring up. Where's this tape come from? I've got to clean up under the speakers, but they fit, so that's cool. They look pretty good. I quite like it. Got the holes cut. Little indentations. Just going to clean them up with the little wheel. Oh, I doubt they're going to work, but we're going to try it anyway. Attempt number 2. Nope, still no good. So I've grabbed this little ding dong out. Not that I know how to use it or even plug it in, but I'm pretty sure I've worked out what I want, which is the blue is a non-constant power. So that's good. Does what I thought it does, which is, if I can hold this, hang on, if I can shove this in here, probably show you. So it's got like nothing. Turn the car on. Give it a wiggle. 12. I think that's what I want. I don't really know. That's cool. Now we gotta check the powers. Alright, so I'm pretty sure I've worked out my problem, which is, so I was trying to use the cigarette lighter because I'd heard that that is constant power, 12 volt, whatever. Seemed like it might be right because I remember being in my nana's car when I was a kid and burning my finger on the cigarette lighter. So that makes sense to me. Had a swirl in my thumb for a week. So I remember that, so I thought that might be right, but it seems like that's not working anyway because that was not working previously anyway, so I thought maybe it was just something else. But I've just done the earth onto the chassis down there for now. I've got my red cable, which is just switched, I'll tell you exactly what it's called. Switched ignition power is your red cable, which I've got going on into the blue and black, which is from the factory radio, which worked out is switched because it only works when the car's on because you push the button on the front. That's obviously working because it turns on once you turn the ignition on. So now I just need power. That's the problem. So I grabbed the power cable and just chucked it onto the ignition for a second to see if that would work, and that has turned the head unit on. So I just need to find a power and we'll be all good. All right, so I don't know if we should do this or not, but I found a constant power that goes to the heater box. So that'll be probably to turn the heater on and off. Oh, that's power to the heater box. Once you flick it on to heater and fan, it'll turn the fan on. So yeah, turned on. Just got the board here, just cut the edges and folded them. Pretty easy. Gonna glue this back on. That's it, looks good. That's it, I'll show you the top once it's glued down. Got one in, looks so good. Cover on it, you can't see shit, but get the gist of it. Got the shelf in, all wrapped up. A little bit broken, but you'll never notice. Look how good that looks. It's pinned down with that. That one's how the other side will look. Looks sick though. I think it looks a lot more appropriate than the white and black I did before. There's that one. It's kind of how it looks, wrapped around. Looks really nice. Very cool. It's got to be trimmed up and fitted up, that front piece, but yeah, looks sick. Got the head unit working, it's all in, wiring it all in. Gonna start running the speaker cables. Don't forget, like me, to paint the little bits that you've cut. So just quickly chuck some paint on there. Yep, looks cool. Zip it through here, spray some in the lid, get your little paintbrush, and touch it up, and then it's nice and won't get wrecked. So do that, don't forget that, because I forgot. I had to go back and do it after thinking about it 10 times. All right. Going to plug this in and firstly check. So I've got one speaker wired up, the back left. So I want to check the wiring diagrams right that I got off the internet and see if it works. Before I keep going with everything else, running everything, I've run this cable all the way through, like across there and under the carpets and everything. So let's see what happens, huh? I might have to see if the radio works or something. I don't know. I hear noise. Nope. Don't even know if this has an aerial hole, so might have to grab that out. Yeah, it's not picking up tune. Alright, pull the aerial out of here, put it in the head unit. So now let's see what happens. There we go, we got tunes. Gotta fucking blow this out, obviously. It's about 11 o'clock, Joyce. It's 11 o'clock, just finished wiring all this in. Let's run a test. Power on. Kind of sounds like we're only getting rears, so. Right, I think it was all good. It was just the radio and the small speakers in the front making it sound a bit weird. So I think it's all good. Check the fades and all that and set that up. I'm just going to chuck the phone on, see what that sounds like, but yeah, it's cool. It's all in. I might chuck in the fascia and have a look at how it looks tonight. That'll be it. Then we'll set up, we'll put it all back together tomorrow, so that'll be fun. We'll finally maybe change those screws if I can be bothered in the cluster. We'll see. Cluster needs to come out eventually anyway, so. 3%, it's going to last. Let's have a look at this. Ooh, look at that. Alright, let's have a look at this thing. Oh. Oh, look at that. Wow. Wow. Ooh. Alright, so here's what I got up to last night. Head unit in. Looks pretty good. It's kind of subtle in there, but I've got to put everything back together. So, first job, if you've been watching for a while, I need to swap these screws out to the appropriate ones. So I've worked out the problem with this. There's two different types of button heads. One with a thinner thread and one with a thicker thread. So all the dash ones are meant to be a thicker thread, I reckon. And the thinner ones are for like down here in the door. I did it. I finally did it. Put bigger screws in the fascia, in the head unit, in the other thing, cluster. Got that in the end. So I've got that in. Fixed this was cracked, so we glued that back in. The little wing on that so it doesn't rattle around. Aerial cable was a bit tight, so this couldn't sit in properly. So I just went up, pushed it back through. So obviously it comes out here. Pushed it back up and got rid of a loop that wasn't needed so it comes straight down a little bit more. And now the fascia can all go back in. Nice. Finally got it in. One thing you'll find when you're doing what I did with this and glue washers in them, same as the center console and all that, the thickness of the washer will actually make it way harder to put in, and then also some of it might stretch in or out, like this inner corner down there, stretched in heaps. But it's in for now, it's all good. We can always fix it down the track if it breaks. Nice. Gotta tuck up this wiring, clean up, and I think that's kind of it for this job at least. Got all the front back in, looking cool, man. Vacuum that side, still gotta do that side. That's all in, looks cool. I'm just fixing up the shelf. I found the other little thing. So all I'm doing, I'm mounting it just with the two that use a thread. I broke all the other ones. But these ones have like a little plastic clip. There's no threads on here, but there's a threaded like nut bolt welded to the car. So you just thread them in. That should hold it down cool, then put the cover back on. And that's pretty much it.